for the past 3 years, we have been implementing a BYOD program here at CCS. I want to take just a few moments to tell you about that program, what we've learned, and what our plans are for the 2016-17 school year. First, we call our program a BYOD program. Well, what does BYOD stand for? It's a common label standing for Bring Your Own Device. In other schools, you might hear it called BYOT for Bring Your Own Technology, or BYLD, Bring Your Learning Device. These all refer to the same idea. Students bring to school whatever electronic device they have or prefer for classroom learning. Now, I want to emphasize that last point. This is for learning purposes, not for kids to spend their day playing games, texting, or uploading endless selfies to Snapchat. So what have students been doing over the past 3 years? Well, some of the things they've done in class have been taking notes, looking up information on things they studied, working together on research and presentations. Students also give real-time feedback to teachers. For example, the teacher might ask a quick review question such as, the 3 angles of a triangle add up to what? And all the students type in their answer with the teacher seeing immediately who understands and who doesn't. In some classes, they're using Schoology to take tests in class, meaning the teacher can actually read the student's writing. In other classes, students use an online discussion site to allow them to bat some ideas around. Now, I know you're thinking when you hear that last, well, why don't they just talk with each other? You see, what we find is that a few of the more vocal students will often dominate a discussion, and students who are somewhat shy or who take a few moments to think about their responses often are shut out of verbal discussions. But we've seen that an online discussion format actually opens things up for the more quiet students to contribute. So these are just some of the profitable ways students have been using their devices. So over the past 3 years, what have we learned? Well, we see that students can learn quickly how to use their devices profitably. One concern when we began this program was that students might just spend their time in class playing games and texting, that their devices would solely be a distraction. We found that after the initial novelty wore off, students generally use their devices the way they should. Do some students still get distracted? Of course. But they would be distracted even without a device. They would be passing notes to one another, they'd be doodling instead of listening, and all kinds of other things. We also learned that there are many ways to use devices in class, and that the students themselves can come up with profitable uses. We don't believe the teachers have all the knowledge, but if we give the students a goal, they can figure out the best way to achieve that goal. In watching students work, we have also seen that smartphones, and I include the iPod Touch here, are very difficult for them to use effectively. We know students have learned how to text quickly with their phones. But when it comes to writing an essay, or looking up one website and taking notes on that information, or even doing some of the things in Schoology, smartphones are very inefficient and hard to use. Fourth, we have found that our students need systematic training in using their devices effectively. We hear talk all the time about how the younger generation are digital natives, having grown up with computers, tablets, and smartphones. However, what we've seen is that it's true, they can easily access social media like Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, and Instagram well. They can set their ringtones on their phones, they can take endless selfies. But when it comes to actually doing other profitable work, or even accessing important settings, they often don't know where to begin. They need to be taught systematically how to do what they need to do in school. So what do we have planned for the new school year in the fall? Well, we're continuing our BYOD program for all middle school and high school students. That's grades 7 through 12 next year. However, students in our new intermediate grades, grades 5 and 6, will not be using BYOD. At this point, we don't believe 5th graders are ready for that responsibility, and we want to keep things consistent within a particular school division. So we'll be removing BYOD from all of the grades 5 and 6. Now, in the middle school and high school, all those students will be expected to bring a suitable device to school every day, the same way they're expected to bring other school supplies with them. And based on our experience, we no longer allow students to consider a smartphone or the iPod Touch as their device for the BYOD program. These things are fine for looking up things quickly, for maybe responding to some in-class quick quizzes and things like that. But for the work that we want the students to do, things like writing paragraphs or essays or looking up information and then taking notes, devices like tablets or laptops work much better, and smartphones are really ineffective. So we no longer allow smartphones to be the device that's used for the BYOD program. Also, these devices must be able to run the Microsoft suite of applications. That's Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and be able to access Office 365 online. Any work that's submitted to teachers will need to use the Microsoft suite. But I want to be sure to make this plain. Do not buy these when you get a computer. You might buy a computer and the salesman may say, well, for an extra fee we can install the Microsoft suite on your computer. Please don't do that. Our school's license for Office 365 includes a free download, actually 5 downloads, of the full Office suite for every student and teacher in the school. When school begins, we will help the students get that installed on their computer. That is free, so do not pay to buy the Microsoft Office suite. Now, this has just been a brief overview. For more details, especially about acceptable devices, you can go to the school website listed here. And if you have any questions or suggestions, please don't hesitate to contact me at the email address here. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to hearing from you.